credit to the Denver Broncos. They were a resilient bunch. They fought us the whole way. We helped them some. We got a lot of growth ahead of us, but it's good to grow while you win. Today, I just thought we were loose with the ball some. We turned the ball over, particularly at a significant period in the game, and we were highly penalized. And so, we'll look at the penalties, man, and work to play cleaner. But it was an Achilles heel for us today. It extended drives. It allowed those guys to remain in the game. We made the necessary plays. We bowed up when we had to on offense and defense and special teams. And so we're thankful for that. We understand early in the season, man, we're not going to be perfect. We were good enough to win. We'll make the necessary corrections tomorrow and then push forward. We got a good Houston Texans team coming in here next week, and we'll be ready for that.
Okay, first question, Dejan, go ahead.
Mike, is this kind of what a football team can look like when it doesn't have preseason? I'm not looking to make an excuse for the sloppiness or anything, but could that be part of it? Because you mentioned these are correctable issues.
I'm not going to make an excuse. We were far from perfect today in some of the areas that I outlined. And so we got to get better. We're thankful to win today in spite of it. And we understand that there's going to be some growth at the early stages of this thing, and we better make enough plays to win along the way. And we were able to do that today.
Mike Pursuta, go ahead.
Mike, could you guys rush Edmunds much, if at all, before that fourth down stop?
Yeah, we're capable of really bringing anybody, except the field corner. That's kind of our philosophical approach. We're a blitz group. It's tough to bring the field corner because of the distance that he plays from, but anybody else is capable of coming, and that's just the code that we live by.
Alan Saunders, go ahead.
Mike, when you get the starting quarterback out of the game, how does that change maybe what do you guys have game plan for, tendencies, and how much had you, seen of or prepared for Driskel?
We've played against Driskel from his days in Cincinnati, but more than anything, it's tough to anticipate their alternative plans. The adjustments that they make, their package of plays that maybe highlight his skill set. It threw us off rhythm. It's something to adjust to, but I'm sure the loss of Drew Lock also threw them off rhythm. So, we're not going to make excuses for our performance, man. It was really a good job by them adjusting and adapting to circumstances and working to put themselves in position to win.
Joe Rudder, go ahead.
What did you think of the play of the offensive line with the guys you had in there kind of patching it together?
I'll wait to look at the tape in terms of evaluating it in that way. But I just appreciate the efforts and the attitude, particularly of the young guys. Kevin Dotson starting his first game and missed quite a bit of time in team development. You got to tip your cap to him for his efforts. And Chooch, we know what he's capable of, so we're not surprised by his performance. But it was enough to win. We'll comb through it in the morning and get critical.
Jerry Dulac, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you bring in a lot of pressure. You had a lot of sacks. Was that the game plan going in, and did that change any differently when Driskel had to come in?
That's just the code that we live by. I wouldn't necessarily call it a game plan. It's just our personality. But there are consequences that come with that. We have to be clean. We got to be clean on the back end in terms of DPIs and so forth. So we suffered some consequences from not being sharp today in that area. We got to shore those things up because our personality is not going to change.
Mark Caboli, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, your defense gave up some decent run plays early with a lot of that backside cutting. Was that just some gap integrity issues, and how did you clean that up?
No, you got to tip your cap to those guys. They had a good plan. Munch is a heck of a offensive line coach and run game coach, and I know that he understands us intimately, and that's probably a reflection of his understanding, to be quite honest with you.
Aditi, go ahead.
Coach Tomlin, 2 for 12 on third down. Was there anything in particular that made that tough sledding, or any trends that you noticed?
They perform well. They mix things up. We have to perform better. We don't make any excuses. It is what it is. It needs to be better than that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't compliment those that we compete against when they perform well.
Chris Adamski, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, you already have sacks from safeties, corners, inside linebackers, outside linebackers, defensive linemen, defensive tackles. Is that part of just guys making plays, or has it been a difference in terms of the blitzers you're bringing this year?
You know, like I said earlier, we'll bring anyone. And, you know, that's just a philosophical approach. We're an attacking group, and, you know, we understand the ramifications that come with that personality. And so, you know, we push forward with an effort to get better and sure certain things up that can be an Achilles heel when you play like that.
Will Graves, go ahead.
Mike, Benny put the ball on the ground again for a second straight week. What's your level of concern there, and how do you sort of help a young guy work around that problem?
You know, I don't know that I have a level. I know that I have got some concern because we got to maintain possession of the ball, particularly in those significant moments. And so he's a young guy growing in terms of situational awareness and things like that. I'm sure it'll be a growth experience for him, but we got some work to do there.
Time for a couple more. Brooke, go ahead.
Hey, Mike, when you look at the special teams and you have the safety by Derek Watt, and it looked like Ray had some good returns, how do you feel about the state of your special teams overall, especially given the lack of preseason games?
I'm really excited about it. I thought Deontay was dynamic. You know, I know we got a penalty on that punt return, but we had explosive plays in the return game. We had some splash, you know, with some other guys. So, you know, I just like the overall trajectory of it, and we just got to continue to grow.
Last one, Michael Ferreira, go ahead.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Talk about the touchdown from Claypool, and he's had the big catch in the last game. Talk about his development as the wide receiver position and what he's brought to you so far.
You know, he's a young guy who has some talent. He's capable of stretching the field vertically. I think he's put that on display. But we've always got a young guy in the hopper at that position that stretches the field for us. We've had that over the number of years, and he's just the latest addition, but he's not just a one-trick pony. He's working to round out all aspects of his game and contribute to us in as many ways as he can.